Hello, you guys. Welcome back to Lighthouse Ministries, where we tell our testimonies on how God led us from the darkness into the light. So, the message we have for you guys today is do not go back.
Yeah, so we have a really quick word that we wanted to share with you guys, a word of encouragement because we have been there so many times before. And I know a lot of you guys have been there as well. So the word that we wanted to share with you guys is do not go back. We know that it's the easiest thing to do is to say, I want to go back because back seems easier than what forward looks. So if you remember the story of the Israelites, correct? And they was in their wilderness. And they said to Moses that we would rather go back to Egypt than to stay here and die. They didn't have faith that God was going to lead them into their promised land because it didn't look like it was fruitful at that moment. It didn't look like it was going to come to pass. It just looked like our enemy is chasing us down. It looks like we don't have the food that we need, the items that we need. It just looked easier to go back than to go forward. So what we're saying today is don't go back. It may look easier back there, but it's not. That's slavery back there. It was bondage back there. It's where the enemy was attacking you at the most back there. See, sometimes it's easy for us to think that it's easier back there than to actually know that where God is taking us is way better than where we once was. So we just have a quick word, a quick testimony of ours. When we came to Dallas, we was so wanting to go back to the state that we had came from, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I don't know, a lot of you probably don't know that state, but it's not a good state, okay? But see, the rent in Milwaukee, Wisconsin was around $600, $700.
Cheap.
And Dallas was about 14 to 16, 1700 just for a one bedroom. And so it was all these high prices and all these high things, and we're just like, we're never going to make it here. We're never going to survive here. So in our head, we was like, well, let's just go back. Let's go back because this is not going to work out for us. But God kept telling us even before he moved us to Dallas that don't go back. Don't go back. So what we did is we actually just stayed. We sticked it out, and we ended up making the money that we needed to get into a place or get into the Airbnbs, get into whatever situation that God wanted us to be. But if we would have went back, we would have missed our blessing. See, when God says don't go back, it's not just for your blessing, it's also for your safety. Let's think about Lot's wife for a second. That town was getting destroyed, and she looked back, and now she's no longer with her family, if you know the story. So is there anything that you went back to or wanted to go back to?
I think one of the things God was strict on me about was going back to my old behaviors also.
Old mindsets, yeah.
Old mindsets, old things that I used to do, especially when you're under stress. Sometimes when you are under pressure, going through a circumstance, you begin to shift back to who God have delivered you from. So I had a bad thing by shifting back to my old behavior habits.
Old ways of life.
Yeah, always thinking, always acting like my old self, and just falling deeper into my flesh because I didn't see the way out of my circumstance. So I think that's another way God can tell you not to go back to.
Yeah, it's been some times and situations where I was in this mindset of, when things get hard, when things get very, very difficult, and you go through a storm, the first thing that would pop in my mind is, well, the last season was better than this one. I might as well go back. But you forget about how difficult the last season was and how many times we prayed and begged to get out. But now that we're in a new place, in a new season, it gets difficult. We always want to run back to that last season. But see, the thing about seasons is that when it changes for good. See, if you don't do something right, God will send you back. But if you pass that season and God is putting you up there, you're not going back to that season.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to get acquainted with the season that you're in and just stay focused.
Yeah.
The main thing to do is to always keep pushing ahead and stay focused. Never allow yourself to look backwards, because backwards is not safety. It's always look forward. So if you're watching this word and if it encourages you, I just want you to understand that we all have those thoughts. We all want to go back to something. It seems easier, it seems fun, it seems like you was able to manage back there, but now I'm not able to really manage up here the way that I was back there. I just want you to understand that God got you in the forward places. God got you in the places where you're not understanding, where you don't see the provision, you don't see the blessing, you don't see the things, manifesting in your life or coming true in your life just yet. God still has his protection over you. It's okay to take a break and relax, but never want to go back. Never lose hope into where you are now and want to go back to where you was. Always push forward and keep going, because God has something new for you. And the old things pass away and all things shall be made new. And I believe that's in Isaiah something. I'll leave it on the screen somewhere. But it's all new from here on out. And I want you to keep telling yourself, it's all new from here on out. Nothing else old is coming back. No old people, no old mindset, no old places. It's all new from here on out.